because you can't taste it because it's got sugar in it. So don't waste the good stuff on this. This is like a $3 bottle from Trader Joe's. Like, it's not complicated. So I'm gonna put about a cup of the frozen rosé wine in the blender. It's like a serious blender too. It's like one of those Ninjas. I don't have a Ninja at home. It's like a $20 HEB purchase at home, but that'll do. And you wanna do about half a cup of peaches, frozen peaches. If you have fresh peaches, that's totally fine too. But this makes for a smoother, like slushy type consistency. And then you have your ginger syrup. So you want to put about 2 tablespoons in here.
How much did you put for peaches?
About half a cup of frozen. Yeah. And you can, here's the thing, it's a frozen drink. Like if you're like, I want it more peachy than gingery, add more peaches or less ginger. Totally up to you. Kind of do it however you want to do it. So I throw that in there. It's going to get very loud for a minute. Bear with me. Let me go over here. Fix for the TV. Here. I'll dance. She's going to hype it up for y'all. Blending time. I got these cool things and I wanted to use them. Yeah, she really wanted to use those. So, give it a nice blend and then it pours right in. Pour it into whatever glass you have. I have these cute little fancy glasses, but like you can do whatever you have. Ain't no shame in the cocktail game, okay? And then I have some raspberries here that I'm just gonna, that I froze and now they're all stuck together. Here we go. Boop. Little garnish, and then you've got yourself a little grown-up slushie. Yay! We did it, but like super quick. The hardest part about this is making the ginger syrup. But then that's it. Like you freeze your wine, that's no time at all. You make your ginger syrup, that's about 30 minutes, and then you have all of this wonderful syrup for whatever other fun cocktail you want to do. If you're doing a Moscow Mule, you've got a little extra kick with that ginger syrup. So. Also, if any of you guys have questions about just like cocktails in general, by all means, ask away. Or food, whatever. I like all of them.
We still have a lot of time, so
yeah.
If you want to move into, we've got some votes for horchata.
Yeah, I'll do the horchata next. So, yeah.
And then someone said, beans are never basic.
Thank you, they're not. But I was like thinking, so going through all of this, like, oh, we want to do, you know, poolside stuff, poolside drinks and food. I was like, okay, thinking about like literally what do I do when I'm about to go to the pool, and I'm like, I don't want to do a like bruschetta and like make a complicated thing for people that are drunk to like, ooh, they don't care. They don't care. They want something they can dip, and you want something that's easy, that transports, like you can take it somewhere well. That's it. in my opinion. I want to say my humble opinion, but that's not really, I don't have one of those. Okay, so the rum horchata. I chose this because I feel like rum is like the sad, like stepchild in your liquor cabinet. Like nobody.
Speak for yourself.
For some people. But I feel like nobody really goes for the rum. They're not like, man, I could use a rum cocktail, unless it's like something with pineapple, right? I don't know about y'all. So I've had this little guy in there for a while. And I thought, why not do something with rum? Why not? And I also love horchata, and it's not a margarita, so let's do it. Okay, so you got your shaker. You can also, if you don't have a shaker, you can just do it in a glass. No shame. But I have a shaker, and you know, it's a nice show, so. A couple handfuls of ice.
Oh, someone agrees that the rum is weird.
Rum, okay, yes, it's always in a fruity drink, right? But it has layers, it has depth. It's more than that. Okay, so I did about a handful of ice here. And I'm gonna do 1.5 ounces of rum. Now you can batch this if you are going to a pool party, because nobody's gonna be like at the side of the pool like, let me measure my rum out. Like that's not realistic. in my opinion. Anyways, okay, so you got rum in here, and then we're gonna do cinnamon simple syrup. This is super dark. I made this with ground cinnamon. Actually, I already had this in my fridge. This is a little bit of maple syrup in there too, but still delicious. But your cinnamon cinnamon simple syrup can look a little bit lighter than this, and that's totally fine. Okay.
Can you use dark rum with this too? For this too?
Absolutely, you can. So I also have this. I brought this dark rum. You can definitely use dark rum. You can use spiced rum. This will be a little bit sweeter. Okay, I don't want to say sweeter, but it's not going to be as harsh as a clear rum. So you might want to adjust how sweet you make the horchata or how much simple syrup you add based on the flavor of your rum, if that makes sense. So like when you're making your horchata from scratch, you add like a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup based on how sweet you want it. This, I backed off on the sweetness because I knew I was going to be adding simple syrup. I don't want too much sugar, you know? I mean, I do, but... So, I'm going to do about a half an ounce of simple syrup. And then I'm going to do 1/2 cup of horchata. If I can get it to pour. She's thick. She's so thick. Actually, not too thick. So, I know it's counterintuitive because you're like, nobody wants a milky drink when it's hot outside. This is not dairy-based. This is actually all plant-based. So it's rice milk. You grind up the rice. You put your cinnamon in there. You put it in the fridge. Let it hang out. And you strain it. You can add milk to it. Traditionally, that's what it is. But for this, since I knew this is like hot summer outside drinking, I didn't want to add milk because what's that line from Anchorman? Like milk was a poor choice. Like nobody, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I did almond milk, but you can do coconut milk, you can do oat milk, whatever you want to do. I am adding, after all of this milk talk, I will be adding just like the tiniest splash of cream. This is optional. I just think it makes for a nicer mouthfeel.
Also, it's cream, not milk.
It's cream, not milk, yeah. And you're only putting like a little, like a doot, like just a doot. That's it. You don't need more than that. I hope you guys don't think I'm just like the weirdo of like saying weird things, like doot. That's a technical term. Just a little doot. That's it. It's different from a toot. Like a doot and toot, totally different.
One doot, 2 doots. Who's counting?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
So then shaky. I hate these because I'm just like waiting for one day for it to just like explode on my face. That would be the worst. Stop.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. Woo! So just shake it up, shake it. I got my little cuppy cup. So fancy cocktail people, which I don't know if you noticed this, but I'm not one of those fancy cocktail people. You'll have like a fresh glass of ice. When you're at home, you have a limited amount of ice to work with, am I right? Like no one has just gobs of ice just waiting to be used. So whenever I do cocktails at home, I'll just use the ice I shook it in because who cares? Like I'm at home. No, who am I impressing? Nobody. Well, me, but. So then pour it in. Boop. There we go. And then cinnamon. I do like a little, this is like extra credit. Little thing of cinnamon, and then also if you have, I would like to say like if you have bitters at home, which I collect them because I like to do cocktails, regular Angostura bitters, like what you put in an old fashioned, also really great to garnish with, or I started using these, I randomly found it, cardamom bitters. I don't know, it might be one of those random things that like I realized
Someone said bitters on horchata?
I know, it sounds weird, but it's a nice layer, I promise. I promise because I tried these earlier, so.
They're really good.
Yeah, like much earlier, don't relax. So yeah. What time is it? Do we have time for one more?
Yes, we do.
I'm just like running through these for you guys. Do y'all have any questions thus far about any of this? Cardamom is good and people need to use it more often. I mean,
like normal bitters are usually like more of a cherry flavor, but are those what's the difference with the cardamom one?
Cardamom, okay. I want to say licorice, but there's a caveat with that because I hate licorice, right? If that makes sense. So it has kind of
Let me smell.
like a medicinal smell, but when you pair it with cinnamon, it's sweet and it's like savory almost, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's,
I get the licorice tones, but it goes away.
it's not as like overpowering as licorice is. And I find that with cinnamon, like especially with cinnamon and anything sweet, it's just like this, like, you have this like, what is that? Which is, you always want that, like that, you know, in my opinion. So I gotta stop saying that.
In my opinion.
In my opinion. Ugh, gross. Okay, so.
A lot of people are loving cardamom.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's like the unsung hero of the spice cabinet.
Maybe is anybody making drinks along with
Yeah,
us?
is anyone drinking along? This is like everybody's Friday, right?
Oh, we got yay!
What are you drinking though? Is it like
We got some beers.
beers?
Hard cider.
Real classy, it's rosé on ice.
Yes, girl. Rosé. Oh,
Clean.
there's no wrong way. Clink.
I prefer kombucha, which
Okay.
is really delicious.
I-
It has live peppers.
I hear good things about that. Like I haven't tried it. I'm not ready yet, but I've heard that they're awesome. Same with White Claw. Like I've heard good things. I mean, I think I've had like the lime once, and I was like, okay. I know it's not the same thing, but
Someone's asking if we can make like some normal. She got some regular bar stuff. Can we make like a normal bar option?
so I don't have a lot of options.
Unfortunately, we don't have a normal bar
Yeah, no,
setup.
so yeah, we don't have the normal bar setup. But if you have anything, like, do you want to make like an old fashioned? I can tell you how to do that. Or do you have gin? Like, what are you working with? What are you working with ingredients wise?
I'm working with everything.
Okay, do you have like lemon juice and lime juice?
Absolutely.
Girl, okay, let me ask you this, because I have differing opinions on this. Do you have like bottled lemon and lime juice? No wrong answers.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, use like the fresh stuff. See, I use the juices. I'm like, I don't have time. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't want to go to the store to get like limes. It's just, I just use that. Like, that's what I'm gonna do if I want to be fancy.
I always buy lemons and limes like every single time I go to the store.
Just in case.
Amen. Me too.
Okay.
I do.
Settle down over there. Do you have, do you want to do, what's your favorite spirit?
Gin.
Wait, what? Did you say gin?
Gin.
Gin. Girl, gin. Okay.
Just this.
And the ice. How do you take this too?
Oh, okay.
So the honey mint limeade is something that I started doing. I worked in a food truck. And it was very hot and very lonely. And I'm gonna boil some water. And I was just like, it was like an Airstream with no AC in the middle of Texas, and it was the worst. So you've got your little minty mint. You're basically gonna make like a mint tea with honey, like really thick, add water, and then add your lime. But if you have real mint, you want to save all the leaves for your garnish, or the nice ones for garnish, and you really want to use these stems for the tea, because they're not good for anything else, and they have a lot of flavor still. So what I do is pick off all of the nice looking leaves, and if they're gross leaves that I'm just like, oh, that's not pretty enough, like, they'll go in there. And then you want to take
Oh, what are we making again?
Oh, sorry, this is the honey mint limeade. Super fresh. That's just-
Non-alcoholic, or you can add booze.
You can add booze if you want, but honestly, it's so good. Okay, so you take your stems like you would normally throw away, and you take the back of your knife, like the really dull part of your knife, and you just want to like smash it, smash. You're not trying to cut them; you're just trying to bruise them. See, it smells like mint, right?
It smells
It
great.
smells minty. And stick those in there.
We're just gonna note that we are wrapping up the session in 1 minute, so make
Oh.
this super fast.
Just gonna break those. Okay, so you want to do boiling water. We're gonna pretend like this is just like boiling hot water. So about 1 cup of water, 1/4 cup of honey.
We'll send all the recipes
Yeah, we'll send
and
recipes.
ingredients too.
So you're gonna do 1/4 cup of honey, let that steep for about 10 minutes. Strain it, add about 6 more cups of water, and that's your base, which is this. You've got your drink, you have your fresh lime. You can't use the bottle for this, people like me. You gotta do a real real lime, squeeze it in there, boop. And then your mix. right on top. This is
So
what
people are leaving, so say goodbye to
Okay, bye everybody.
Or people who are leaving. Some people are staying.
Anyone who's leaving, bye. If you're staying, prepare to hear the same lame jokes the entire time. And then take your little mint, roll it, smack it. Boom. She's so fresh. I want to drink this, so I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little sip.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by. And then all the new people that are showing up. Welcome.